Hey everyone, Rosemarie Havsom back again to help you take full control of your life by what you choose to put at the end of your fork. So let's get into it. Men, we have a problem. Code red, code red. Men, your testosterone levels are dropping rapidly. Since the 1980s, we've seen a 1% drop each year in testosterone levels, and it's becoming a crisis. So let's take a look at 1980. 1980s, we had an on average of 500 for testosterone levels in men. By the 1990s, that had dropped into the 400s. And then by the 2000s, it was in 300, 325 to 350 were the levels of testosterone. And it has been getting worse ever since. So let's take a look at what Dr. Bobby Price has to say about this and how it is affecting not only men's health, but it's affecting the population rate as well. Let's take a look and we'll be right back.
What we're eating today is very different from what our great-grandparents ate and especially our ancestors ate. It's just not the same anymore. You know, it would typically take a chicken like 6 months to grow to full size. Now it takes 28 days. Chicken has a lot of hormone in it. Cows have a lot of hormones in it. And some of it is natural hormones and the others are, synthetically injected hormones. But when you eat the chicken, you eat the cow, you eat the hormones. And the unfortunate thing is the more and more you eat of that, it raises the estrogen levels in the body. And this is why you're seeing so many men who struggle with, building muscle mass.
Yep.
So many men who are developing what are called man boobs, gynecomastia.
Yeah.
And then so many men who are balding, so many men who are having these, what look to be like normal signs of aging, but it's really normal signs of deficiencies in testosterone. So for me, like the last thing I want to do in this day and age is to do anything that lowers my testosterone.
So Dr. Bobby Price has a lot to say when it comes to men and their low testosterone levels. We're seeing unprecedented times where men are not really functioning as men, at least not fully. It's affecting your sex drive. It's affecting your desire to be intimate because you don't have enough testosterone. What is causing this? The number one thing, well, there are several factors, but the number one thing is the food that we're eating. In the 1980s, we saw a big shift from the way that food was produced to the food industry boom with mega crops. We saw wheat. Wheat was hybridized, it was genetically modified, and it changed the quality of food when it comes to producing food in the food industry. We saw an uptick in the types of oils that were used to prepare a lot of fast foods. It went from beef tallow and lard and it switched over to polyunsaturated oils. So we had seed oils that were used instead, which was argued to be, hey, they're a lot healthier than lard and beef tallow. But the problem was is that they were increasing inflammation in the body, causing people to become more obese and overweight, high blood pressure and type 2 diabetes and high cholesterol. Before this change, we didn't see those effects. But in addition to those effects, it was having an horrible effect on men's testosterone levels by lowering testosterone. Now, if you know anything, if you remember back in biology, high school biology, remember you have to have a balance of hormones. So the whole thing about having balanced hormones is so important. So we have estrogen, which is generally the female type of hormones, female characteristics. Then we have testosterone, male characteristics. If you're a man and you have lower testosterone, it's going to raise your estrogen levels because your estrogen levels are going to naturally be higher than your testosterone levels because of this imbalance. The problem with that is that's been made worse by the types of food that we're eating. Fast food, highly processed foods have a lot of seed oils, which causes inflammation, and it also increases and mimics fake estrogen, xenoestrogen. That causes gynecomastia in men, also known as man boobs. It also causes weight gain around the midsection, sluggishness, high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, and high cholesterol. Even though African American men can pride themselves on knowing that they have almost 20% more testosterone than their white counterparts, we're also seeing, and that's according to the National Institute of Health, but we're also seeing that high levels of testosterone also have a negative effect when it comes to prostate cancer. Now, the studies are still looking at the correlation between high levels of testosterone and prostate cancer and why that's affecting African American men almost 2 to 1 when compared to their white counterparts. But the thing that we want to really focus in on is if your testosterone is low, that's one thing. But we're seeing even Gen Z males coming out with even lower testosterone levels than men in their 40s and over. The plummeting birth rate since the 1980s, and remember, food changed in the 1980s and more processed and seed oils were introduced in the 1980s. The birth rate plummeted, and it's even lower now than it was back then. What can you do? There are certain things that are really contributing to lowering men's testosterone. One is eating soy. A lot of people will say, oh, soy is fine. But if you're in danger of having low testosterone, it's best to avoid soy in general, no matter what, no matter how healthy people market it to be. The other thing that you want to avoid is a lot of sugar. Sugar has an inflammatory response in the body that then increases your blood pressure, makes you more prone to type 2 diabetes, increases your cholesterol, increases weight and obesity, and then, hey, it lowers your testosterone as a side effect. The other thing to remember is that the more sedentary that you are, the more that you sit around and stare at a screen, the less that you're moving. The less you move, the lower your testosterone goes. So men, you have to exercise and exercise hard. Hard weights in the gym and eat a balanced meal. Eat balanced meals that do not include seed oils or genetically modified foods. Really important. That's why you have to have grass-fed, grass-finished organic beef and organic free-range, free-run eggs and chicken. And only wild-caught fish, oily fish, fatty fish. That's what you need to have. We're looking at the health of our nation. The nation cannot go forward with low testosterone levels, but low testosterone does not have to be your story. One of the best ways of keeping your testosterone levels high and to make sure that you can avoid the issues with low testosterone, which is a low sex drive, depression, anxiety, and inability to function when it comes to sexuality and intimacy. One of the things that I highly recommend is this. Pilos antler, one of the best things that you can take to make sure that your body stays in the optimal range of testosterone. Men, you don't have to take the little blue pill if you're taking this. Pilos antler, one of the best ways of treating low testosterone and treating erectile dysfunction as well. Let's keep it happy in the bedroom, guys. Make sure that you're doing everything that you can to protect your testosterone levels. Eat clean, eat well, move your body, get outside. Don't put your laptop on your lap, even though it's called that. Remember Steve Jobs? He always carried his cell phone in his back pocket. He later developed cancer. There seems to be a correlation between what you're putting against your body when it comes to electronic devices and how it's affecting your cells and your health. Men, remember, you can change it. Just do the things that make the difference to raise your testosterone levels. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. And remember my channel, Havsom, HAV for Victor, SOM for Mother. And I'll fill you in on how you can get your own supply of Pilos antler for your best sexual health and your best testosterone levels. I'm Rosemarie Havsom. We'll see you next time. Stay safe.